Bengals fans, I need y'all to talk to me real quick. Listen. We're gonna talk about TJ, who's your mama. You feel me? AKA TJ. And then we're gonna talk about Ocho Cinco a little bit. But Pops got to see this a lot more than me. Even though I'm a huge football fan, Pops got to see it a little bit more firsthand, being a real football fan. So, Pops, I'm going to read you off some numbers, and I know I brought this up to you. But not a lot of people give TJ Houshmandzadeh credit for being a good duo with Ocho. A lot of people also consider him as a tight end, too, not even a wide receiver sometimes, which is kind of wild to me. But, yeah, right? You know what I mean? Like a lot of posts call him a tight end sometimes, which is kind of crazy. What'd you say? Sorry?
Slot receiver.
You know what I mean? And they call it it's just kind of wild to me. But anyways, let's go ahead and break down. Go ahead. Sorry.
He's like a Wes Welker.
And I wasn't even gonna take it there, Pops, but I'm glad that you did. Now, how do you get that mixed up with a tight end sometimes? I don't understand. I really don't understand. But let me break down some of these stats for you, Pops. One of the coolest things ever. They were both drafted in 2001. They were both college teammates at Oregon State. They both were multi Pro Bowlers together. They also combined for 18,000 plus yards and 111 touchdowns. And they also combined for 18 seasons together in Cincinnati in general. The only duo to ever do shit like that, Pops. So you got to see... and we don't even got to talk about their accolades and what they done and whatnot. Like, you can, talk about whatever you like here, Pops. But, you got to see, Ocho work a lot more than me. I got to see the release. I got to see, the fancy talk to where it's you really can't guard me. I got to see the locker room checklist and whatnot. But, I didn't pay attention to the game as much as you. So, I didn't pay attention to as much as TJ just because, I'm more focused on, what's going viral and whatnot back then. But I was still watching football. So, I didn't get to see as much of what you got to see probably out of TJ. So what do you think of just the duo just in general, Pops, and what they stood for back then? Because that was back with Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, and you had a couple other receivers in other places. But what you think, Pops?
They're good, don't get me wrong, but the main thing is you have to look at one thing. Who is the quarterback?
Carson Palmer.
That's the reason why.
So you think Carson Palmer was the only reason why they got busy like that?
The only reason why. Some of the great receivers have to have that great quarterback to put the ball where they need to. They have to know the receivers. That's why they're duos. You can't do it by yourself. And I don't see where everybody, they can do this, and there. There's only a few receivers that can do it wherever they're at.
Okay.
And they're few and far between. Unless you're Randy Moss.
That is very fair. And then you're gonna and then if we look at it, Chad Johnson didn't play well with any other team just because of the fact that it's just other stuff going. So Pop, and if you probably go down if we were to go down a list of NFL wide receivers that were like that, Pops, you're probably 100% right and hit the nail on the head. You're right.
Hey, and it's like this. Jury's still out to see what happens. It should be have a great year. You would think in every single way. One is still out for this year. It just happened. You just talked about it. Beckham.
Okay.
So anything could happen this year. It could be his greatest year, or it could be his downsized year. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Who knows? Like I said, he does good in injuries. Those things happen. Like I said, who knows?
Yeah, it's either an injury bug or it's can you play with a different organization or play in a different style of offense? Can and this is another thing, Pops, and let me hit the nail on the head with you real quick. Can you work with 150 targets? Not a lot of receivers can work with 150 targets. That's a lot of balls coming your way. That's a lot of demand for you to get open. That's a lot. That's a lot of targets. And you can think maybe, hey, yeah, this receiver can get those targets. Yeah, cool. But what is that receiver going to do with those targets, on a different team? Can they get 150 targets on this team and then on a different team and be able to understand that offense, understand that system, and be able to play with any quarterback?
Beckham ain't going to have no 150 targets. He might have if he's lucky.
Oh, no. My bad. I was talking about, Ocho going to a different team or, TJ Houshmandzadeh.
But even then, they wouldn't.
So what do you think Odell's gonna get, Pops? Do you think I'm thinking maybe Odell could have like 55 to like 68 catches for 800 to 1,000?
I'm thinking 50 to 70 catches, you know, and then also I'm thinking yardage wise, you could have 800 to 1,000. It all depends because the main thing is it's still gonna be Tyreek and Ronald.
Mm,
He'll have some, but he won't have a lot.
that's true. Well,
But they're not gonna be throwing the ball no 70 times a game.
no, 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 no. I mean, 50's high.
And after they signed Monster back, even though he's a receiving back, but he's mostly runner. And
2 year deal.
A is gonna be rusher, but he's the
A-Chain's coming
receiver.
off of that injury too, Pop. So he's probably biting at the bit to get back. He's probably biting at the bit to see the field. Like, okay, let me calm myself, but let me go ahead and get as many yards as I can.
But that's the whole thing. He's on the good one to let him touch ball like 10 or 15 times a game because he's that explosive.
It's too risky.
80 yards to the house.
Cause it's like certain like this is what Pops are saying too, to like let you guys understand. Why do you think Big Red is such a good coach over there at Kansas City? Because he understands the input that a player is supposed to have. Some players aren't supposed to have 25 touches or even 15 touches a game. And that's respectable, especially at the running back position, because that's a lot of bang bang. Whether you're blocking, running, or catching, you're more than likely going to get a bang bang. Not even just one pad. You're going to get two pads from two different players. So it's like you take all that bang bang, and then you have a smaller player, and a lot of people overuse them, and that's what, and like you get players to get injured. So it's kind of like what Pops is saying is let's take Devon A-Chain, let's understand he's on that 10 to 15 carry regiment maximum, and or like play count with receptions and rushing options like as a total. So it's like let's understand that, because last year that was the question: could he go past that? And Pops, they tried to go past that, and then look what happened. So I think you're 1,000,000% right. Let's pull back a little bit. And then, let's tell him, hey, maximize, every rep that you get. And basically probably every rep that he's in is more than likely going to be designed for him, or just like a misdirect. That's kind of how I'm looking at it. But I think you hit the nail on the head with him.
That's all into for sure.
Because if you give him too many carries, that's tough. But Pops, I really don't got much else. I mean, do you want to say anything else? You got anything else you want to talk about randomly? Anything? Are you good?
Good.
All right, Pops. Well, hey, listen, Pops, I appreciate you for tapping in for another show of the Juice and Pop Show. Thank you, OG. I hate long ass outros, so I'm gone, or we gone.
Peace.
Subscribe to the Juice and Pop Show.